All right, welcome to upsells. So at this point in the journey, if you go back to that initial sort of overview, we're now on to, let me bring it over here. This outline is still not even a final version of it, but basically we've completed that first customer journey. We got them from point A, not a paying customer, to point B, a paying customer. We've looked at a lot of these different formats, right? Add to VSL to checkout, add to advertorial to VSL. I mean, I won't do the whole recap. I'll probably have done that in a different video, honestly. I don't record it yet, but I will. So I'm trying to think where I have it. I think it's down. Where's the second journey? I think I have it down here more. Right? Like, okay. We got them to buy. That was journey number one. Now journey number two is like, how do we keep them buying? How do we keep them a customer for life, right? And the first most obvious type of thing would be upsells, right? Some of these things, ignore them, they're notes. We'll look at sort of email sequences, promotions, things of that nature, and then get to bonuses. So we're on upsells. This is the new journey. Journey one from A to B is complete, right? Now, I mean, technically this is still the same at the very end of journey B. Like, they bought once. Basically, they bought once. They just bought. They got from point A to point B. When is the number one time that you're likely to get them to buy again? It is moments after they just bought, right? They're already in buyer mode. They've already committed. They pulled out their credit card. They've already made the mental leap of, I'm going to give this company money or this person money or this brand money or whatever it is. So being like, well, I'll give them a little more money. It's never going to be easier than it is right then and there. And that's with upsells, right? And we're going to go through all of this here. But it's sort of like I'm trying to think of how I could explain this. With a good brand, your time horizon is like, I hate how the formatting of this is. Whatever, just have to deal with this, right? Kind of long. All right, you've got, I should honestly just like a whiteboard almost, but it's fine. Like, right? Like, it's sort of like, I'll probably do like an intro video, this sort of part of RMBC, and then repeat what I'm doing here. But essentially, like, okay, say here's where they make their first purchase. Okay. Terrible graphic, right? So if you make a really good brand and you build a good relationship with them, give to buy again here and here and here and here and here and here is totally possible and doable, right? But the future is uncertain. And if you don't build a good relationship or things in the market change or whatever it is, it may be that all of your sales kind of come here. For people who do like ClickBank offers, like really aggressive offers, don't build relationships with their customers, aren't building brands, all of their money is being made here. And this includes first purchase, but then, upsells, email list, etc. And then it kind of dies out. Maybe they randomly get one here. Maybe they get one here, but like less likely. But even if you do have a great brand, and they're going to buy here, 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 here. Don't mind the length, right? Okay, cool, great. You still have to contend with your AOV. And by that, right, it's sort of like, essentially, your CAC or CPA, what you're paying to acquire a customer, and then your AOV. And then your margin, right? I'll do another training on funnel economics, right? but I'm going to put it here because it sort of sets up what we're doing with upsells and the logic and thought process, right? So let's say you pay $100 to acquire a customer. Without upsells, let's say your average order value is $80, and let's say your margin, so your COGS are like $20, right? So basically your margin is like negative $40, right? Does this make sense? I'll put that here. So COGS, $20, right? So you basically lose $20 between, your AOV is essentially synonymous with revenue, right? Okay. So I pay $100, I get $80 in revenue, right? Which means I've lost $20. My COGS are, $20, which means I've lost another $20. So then my margin is negative $40, right? Or it's $60, fine. But basically, I think negative 40 makes more sense, right? So minus 20, so 100, minus 20, minus 20, it leaves $60. And I've lost $40, right? So how do I fix that? Well, one of the ways is getting your AOV, your average order value, up here in the first purchase. So let's say my CAC CPA is $100 still. So my AOV is now $160. Okay. Which means I've made $60 gross. Let's say COGS are now $40 to get that AOV up. Okay. Which means I've lost $20. Now my margin, like sort of net, like this. Okay, so $160 minus 100, right? This was 80 minus 100 is negative 20. 160 minus 100 is positive 60. Minus 40. I don't know, system was confusing, right? Now my net profit margin is $20. Okay? There's a huge difference between negative 40 and 20. Difference between an 8-figure business and a either business that fails or that takes a really long time to scale, because you can go negative sometimes when you're doing subscription. And again, I'll do another train on funnel economics. I know I'm kind of like riffing on this, but I think it's kind of important to understand it. So the big difference is, if this is true, then what can I do with that? I can take that $20, either make more money and go get my Lambo faster, or I can apply that to my CAC CPA. So then I spend, let's say, $120. My net profit is 0, but I'm not losing money on customers. Why would I do that? Because maybe now I can acquire, twice as many customers. Maybe if by unlocking 20 additional dollars in a Labo CPA, I can get double the customers. Maybe it's just like, 1.3x the customers. But either way, I get more customers. When would that matter? If I'm on subscription, if I have a brand, if I have a brand where they're going to buy here, 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 whatever it is, then I don't really care if I break even here I'm not losing money. I don't care because I'm going to make money here, 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 here. And when I'm doing that, my CAC is going to be 0, right? So even if I'm paying COGS, my margin is going to be way higher for all of those places. And by the way, this is why subscription businesses are really nice too, because on subscription business, you know, guess what? Like, basically, if you keep someone on retention, they buy here, break even, they buy here, 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 whatever it is, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rebill cycles. Maybe you get them here and they just buy 1, 2, 3. But either way, there's no CAC those additional times, so you make all your money back, which is also why going negative to acquire customers is actually a totally fine model if you know what you're doing, right? But if you don't know what you're doing, or even with like you're early on, and yes, you have a subscription business and you like you don't mind going negative, but like right now you also don't have the money to just go at a loss constantly, then one of the most obvious things you could do is get your AOV up, right? And the most obvious way to do that is through upsells. So that's sort of your setup for upsells. I'm gonna take this. I'm deleting it, don't freak out. That can go away. I'll go down here, basic economics. Those are important. Okay, so that's down there. And it's really important because, again, a lot of people don't have the money starting out to just go negative a ton, knowing that they'll eventually get rebills. So same reason I've talked about with like GLP-1s, the space I'm in, telemedicine, one of the spaces I'm in, I think it's virtually impossible for somebody else to come in. I made a YouTube video, and I think I might include that as the funnel economics video. I gotta go back and look at it and double check. If not, maybe I'll put it somewhere else. People always ignore this, but it's like, I don't know how you could do marketing without thinking about this stuff, to be completely honest with you, right? And even with Opal Beauty, you know, we put $600,000 more than that at this point into the brand. And it's really just in the last like month that we started being profitable every day. And part of that's because we've rebranded and all these other things. But even when we were losing money figuring it out, I was like, well, at least have a high subscription take rate. The problem was our products were not good enough, so our subscription take rate was good, but our rebills were bad. And so one of the reasons I basically redid everything to get better products. Okay, we're 12 minutes in. I haven't barely even talked about upsells, but hopefully you understand why I shared this and why it's valuable, okay? So let's go to actual practical stuff with upsells, and then we're gonna do some shopping with Stefan. You know what I'm gonna do?